This gentleman here got fired for something that I guess it makes sense in today's world, but I didn't know that the world was so aggressively against Christians, against the faith, against believers, that this gentleman honestly got fired for believing in Jesus and sharing that on his platform. We're going to get into this clip. He's going to explain what he went through. This gentleman, if you've seen him before, you'll recognize him. But if you haven't, this gentleman essentially was a homosexual man. And he realized the destruction, the darkness, the wrongdoings in those things and decided, hey, with this information that I found out, with this stuff that I now know, I'm going to come out of that and I'm just going to now express my life freely as an ex-homosexual man who's been freed, who's been delivered from what he was in. I think it is a great testament. I think it is a great story. It's just very unfortunate that someone like this had to endure what he had to endure. Let's get into this clip.
I just got fired from my job for my social media, and this is where I worked, and like I'm not crying or upset or mad. I'm just like this is wild. And this is expected. And there's nothing that I talk about on my social media except for Jesus. And so obviously that has to be the only reason. Now, they talked about me reporting some things in conference rooms, and my mindset was, this is a big place, it's not that serious. I'm gonna really try to not have the logo be in anything. They said the logo was in one of my videos, I don't recall, but they said in general, overall, it's against their social media policy, which is very interesting. I know places and occupations and jobs, they have people, take videos, like if there's like educational purposes, but obviously don't have kids there or whatever. This only happens when you stand in truth. And here's what I'm gonna do. I know the Lord is gonna provide for me, but I just wanted to let y'all know. This is what happens when you love Jesus. And I'm not gonna stop loving Jesus. And I'm gonna bless them. And I hope they do well. But this means that my time here is up, and there's something else that the Lord needs me to do. So, keep me in your prayers. Love y'all.
So I know that people are going to say, because based off of what you can hear, and when you hear his conversation, his voice, his tone, all of that, people are saying, there's no way this guy's not still homosexual, there's no way he's still not gay or whatever. He explains in some of other of his content, if you care to dive in and go give it a search and look at it, he explains in other of his, videos of how he understands the wrongdoings of it and why he came out of it. So his being and who he is, that's who he is. That's just naturally him. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to go and partake in whatever endeavors that a homosexual man would partake in. Now, I know the company was talking about how when he mentioned that the reason that they were firing him was not necessarily the content that he was posting, but the location in which he posted it. Supposedly that maybe there was a logo inside of the video. This gentleman said he didn't recall that logo being in the video. And I think that this was a lie. I think that I would say that it's not necessarily an attack on the Christian faith. When I really hear it, it's not a direct attack on the Christian faith, but I do believe that because of the amount of attention that he gets, the amount of likes and commentary that he receives on his videos explaining his transformation, from being a homosexual man to no longer being that, I think that that is what the company did not like. I think it was the overall message of hope for change, hope for a transformation, for freedom, for true freedom in Christ. I think that was the message that the company did not want to stand by. So it's just so very interesting that when they talk about how we need to be inclusive and how companies talk about how they're so inclusive and we're for the people, and it's we got to make sure everyone's getting a fair treatment. But when it boils down to it, it seems like to me that we're inclusive to everyone except the people of God. And I know that people try to make it seem like it's the other way around, where the people of God are not inclusive for everyone. But it's like, I feel that we're the ones that are being prosecuted. I feel like we're the ones that are not able to truly share our faith, because from what other people look at it as, us sharing our faith is offensive to others, it offends other people. But when it comes to LGBTQ and them sharing their beliefs and their faiths, if you will, it's not offensive. And then the world wants us to, make it mandatory that we acknowledge their beliefs and acknowledge what they stand on and support it and become a part of it. And so that's interesting that all this gentleman is doing is on his individual free time, not offending anybody, not crossing any lines, not even telling people that they need to come out of what they're coming out of. He's just sharing his life. So it's just very upsetting. It's unsettling for him to just mindlessly be enjoying life and going about life and not being able to share his genuine truth and his genuine story and his genuine testimony without the risk of being fired. Because what's interesting is, let's say if there was how I'm saying that, I believe this is backwards. Let's say if there was a different situation where he didn't have a transformation of leaving homosexuality and going, to Christianity. Well, let's say where he was a Christian, and let's say he went to homosexuality, and then now he's on the internet and he's sharing about how now he's a homosexual and now he's in this life and he's never felt more free and pride this and pride that, and he's just ready to just, rumble it all. Let's say if there was a Christian believer, a faith, someone of the faith at that job, would they have responded it the same way? Does that Christian believer have the right to say, hey, you know what, I think this is uncomfortable, the message that you're sending to people, because there are people that believe and there's people that don't believe that. So for you to go ahead and send that message of there's never been more freedom than when you've stepped into the LGBTQ community, I think that's a little contrary to what we're pushing. No, that never happened. So that furthermore proves and that furthermore tells us that the agenda of the world is that of the enemies, bro. Like, there's just nothing good. There's nothing good. And no way they tried to put it, there's no way they're going to try to pull it. However they try to explain it, no matter what they say, doesn't matter. The truth is, they fired this guy solely because he believes and loves and talks and confesses the power of Jesus Christ. That's what it is. That's what people, they don't want that. It's almost like they're like, go ahead, have your fun little religion, have your fun little faith, go have your little church. That's fine. You guys believe what you believe, but you better not come over here and start trying to indoctrinate, and you better not come over here and start trying to tell anybody anything, and you better, for sure, you better not go using that name of Jesus and telling people how he's helped you and how he's saved you and how he's healed you and how he's understood you in times when no one else has, and how he's helped you in some of the darkest places and pulled you right out of the pit and showed you that there was hope for your future. Yeah, they don't want you to do that. They don't want us to do that, man. Because you start doing that, you're going to have too many people seeing the real true power of God. The real benefits that come with having an authentic, genuine relationship with him. Then you start to see the reality of what things really are. And they don't want that, man. They don't want that. But they want to mask it in this, oh, we're being inclusive. It's inclusivity. It's equal rights for everyone. No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. It's not equal. Because when it comes to the believers, when it comes to the people of God, the children of God, I do not believe that we are able to share what is offensive to our faiths and it be removed and it not happen and it not take place. You think about even the situations we have with the co-ed bathrooms and non-binary restroom facilities and things of that nature, where it's like, what about the believers? What about how we feel about it? It's like we're moving into this wave, in this direction in the world where, yeah, we are including things, and we were all about inclusivity, if you will. But I think we're focusing just too much on how to include one specific group of people. Not everybody, just one specific group of people. That's interesting, man. This is very sad. Like I said, I knew that there was, there's this is the world, and the world's gonna have hate for God, man, and it just is what it is because there's evil here. But it's just very unfortunate. Like I said, it's unsettling. It's just sickening to the stomach that someone could get fired just for simply being themselves. Didn't offend anybody, did absolutely nothing. Just proof in the pudding right there. How much of the world, how many people in the world are just so against you and so against the God you serve. But if God be for us, man, who can really be against us? That's why, exactly like he said, like, I'm not worried, I'm not tripping, I'm not going to complain, not nothing. I know what it is. They could try to say it is one thing, but at the end of the day, we all know what it is. We all know what it is. We all know the truth. No matter what reason they try to put down for firing him, we know why. But fret not, because God's got our back, man. And he's going to order our steps if you continue to trust in him. It's as simple as that. It's not always going to be easy, but it is promising when you trust in God. That's all I got for you guys on this one, man. To the next one. I'm out.